So, welcome to the C meeting 2024. Why is this so big? This isn't. See, no, it's fine. It's fine. Welcome to the C meeting 2024. Also from us. I am Phil Kopetsky. I'm on the steering committee of the C Hub. With me are Barbara Klen, the coordinator of the C Hub, and Tony Ristovsky from who's the program officer at the C Hub, and those are our two staff members right now. This session is going to talk about, we're going to talk about the past, the present, and the future. And the idea of this session is to give you an overview of what some aspects of what some statistics say about CE, and to give you a common base to have conversations about this whole weekend. So let's get right into it. What has happened in the last year? So since the last C meeting, there was one big thing that we a lot of us were at least talking about or reading about, and that's the movement charter process. So since the last C meeting, we also conversation at the last C meeting about the movement charter, and since then, the most visible parts of this process have been the publication of the first full draft in April 24. The CEOB also did an analysis of that we shared with you. And some of you who are in the space here today were also at the Wikimedia Summit, where there were deliberations and specific results about what, for example, affiliates thought should be in the movement charter and what kind of some red lines are. And thank you to everyone who was part of those discussions at the summit, because I'm pretty sure the final draft that then came out in June would not have looked the same way if that summit wouldn't have happened. So then in June, the final text was published. The CEOB also analyzed the final text. While not perfect, it was good enough to try from our point of view. So we also made a public endorsement. And then we had the ratification process where many of you took part, and thank you for that as well. And yeah, the results were quite clear in a way. Unfortunately, the Board of Trustees of the Wikimedia Foundation did not want to ratify it. So that's kind of where we are now. So the big question is where do we go from here? What happens now? And that's the future part, which will come at the end of this session. So until then, I will hand over to Barbara to talk about the present. No, sorry, the past. Still.
So we are moving from past to another past, and we'll be talking about the year 2 of the C Hub. I presented several times, and many of you have heard it. So this time we will not be talking about 3 pillars and our work packages, but I want to divide our work in a way to show you areas where you can reach out for us, where you can get our support, but also to show you on which things we are working, which are also supporting you in a way, but they're not directly connected to you because it's not direct work. So I'm starting with our direct work. And the most important thing during this year was our launch of the micro grant program. These are really small but rapid grants because processing time is 2 weeks. We have budget of 8,000 euros this year, and people who apply, communities or individuals, can apply for amounts from 50 to 500. And you will hear a bit more about it later, but this was one of the important parts to get closer to communities and those who need support. We also provided support regarding implementation of campaigns and competitions. This year, C-Hub's focus was International Roma Day and Wiki Loves Monuments. So apart from writing guidelines and supporting implementation, also people who have questions on daily basis about international part of the competition, about uploading, even how to compose jury, they come to us and they're able to get step-by-step guidance. And last but not least, I want to mention our on-demand support. This is something that we don't maybe present often, but many of you who reach out and want to just ask to organize some learning sessions or to be connected to right people, either from foundation or other affiliates, you are able to get this support because we are in touch with many people from the region and also globally. So that's an important part of the process, just connecting you with others. And moving forward with our support that we are doing, but not direct, we are involved in some of the processes which are happening behind. One of them is CEE meeting. So although we are not part of the organizing team or organizers, we are monitoring the implementation and also making things happen. So we were the ones who were facilitating organization of the bidding process and selection committee, and the result of this was selection of Greece as a next organizer. Also, we are taking part in program committee and taking care or providing assistance that those who don't get selected as delegates can also get additional scholarships to be able to be here, to make this event also and get together accessible to everyone. I want to mention our experimenting throughout this year with external funding. So C-Hub was part of one externally funded project, both writing project application and now implementation of the project. It's about Heritage Guard Network that we are implementing with Wikimedia Sweden and several CE affiliates. But you will also, if you're interested, be able to hear about it during one of the sessions. And last but not least in this area is our focus on tools. We started mapping Wikimedia tools, and the goal is that those tools that are not used become easily accessible and that we write explanations for communities so that can be also easier implemented. And now last, our specific support. So that's only refers to special or selected communities. During this year, we had focus on a youth group, continued. We are facilitating the work of that group. That means supporting meetings and helping them also create things. And also our focus on Romania and Moldova user group together with user group Greece and Cyprus. These communities were able to receive support in form of part-time employees. This was not happening as something that C-Hub just decided and pushed upon communities, but it was done in cooperation with those who were mature enough to accept support, and then those agreed, and they agreed which kind of support they need. So on Cyprus, it was decided that they want part-time employees for grant making and also administration for Cyprus and Greece. And Romania, Moldova decided to focus on support in educational area and communication. Yeah, that's about Hub. And now something nice also that we want to look back at, Wikimania 2024. Mariana already mentioned some of things that we wanted to also say, but it was big event. It was happening in our region. There was strong CEE representation, and many CEE communities were able to show what they are doing and what's happening. Also, our CEE youth group, it was their first time that they are able to present their work. They were all organizing game nights and also coordinating work with other youngsters from the whole world. That was something new. CEE Hub was able to present its work and showcase what and how we are doing. And one of the, I would say, good outcomes of it was our trying or even managing to establish connection with other hubs, and now this cooperation should be happening on regular basis. Um, from my point of view, the most valuable part from Wikimania was this sense of belonging and pride that was really visible and tangible, because people from the CE were feeling as they were part of something bigger, something important, and also they could feel appreciation from others because many things that we are doing for the first time. And now, after this intro, we are moving to something very nice. So I'm asking you for attention. It's about situation of online communities. My colleague Tony will be presenting some maps and graphs, so please pay attention. And after this block that he will present now, you will be able to ask questions. So if you have something in your mind, just keep it. And
Hi everyone. So the situation of the online. Now it's on. Okay. Hello everyone. This is the situation or the state of the online communities. It's basically statistics of 29 Wikipedias in the region. And we will display some graphs about readership, active editors, total page increase during the past 5 years. As it is 29 Wikipedias, we will not show the whole tables and graphs with every Wikipedia, but only examples and to see how it is the trend. So the first position here is the regional trend of how it was impact of the pandemic years into increasement of the articles. We can see that like during comparison of the year 2021 to 2020, it is the biggest impact of the increasement of the articles in every Wikipedia, in every 29 Wikipedias from the region. Although the trend is going down, like after this huge up that it was happening during the pandemic, we can see that the trend, although it's down, is not so big drop after the pandemic, because that was pretty much affect that people has more time to read Wikipedia. The second graph that we will see now, it is about page views. And we can see that different Wikipedias has like many ups and downs during the years. But like unlike the page engagement, and now we can see the opposite trend. So the trend here is that every Wikipedia, yes, has grown during the pandemic, but also that growth in the readership continues afterwards. So I would mention two examples. That most of the Wikipedia had grown, but on example, Estonian Wikipedia has a big, that is the green line, and that is it has like a big like up, like a big increasement during the pandemic years. Afterwards, it has like a big drop, but we can see that after these years, after pandemic years, the increasement of the leadership continues still. Armenian Wikipedia is interesting story because they started to grow pretty much in the pandemic, but the growth continues even after the pandemic years, and we cannot see the drop here in the leadership. So, and we will continue now with the active editors. And with the active editors, we will see three graphs. So on the first graph, we will see the five big Wikipedias. So when they have like more or around 1,000 active editors. And when I say active editors, that means some user who edits more than 100 edits in 1 month. So we can see here also interesting stories for the obvious reasons. Russian Wikipedia has a drop during the years of the active editors after the invasion, after the sanctions, and the fork in Russia for the government. So we can see the decreasement of the active editorship. And Turkish Wikipedia, where we are now we are here in Turkey, after the like removing of the blockade that was like for Turkey in Wikipedia, we can see the big increasement of Turkish editors or returning to the original. Now for the small Wikipedias or like medium-sized Wikipedias, better to be said, we can see that the movement here is much more fluctuating. So it is not so stable. It has like from the year to year, the editors is changing. They are not staying in the years. And they are quite similar, but they had a big changes, and that is understandable because like for them it's like only like I don't know 50 people for an example. Bosnian Wikipedia, if somebody like 3 or 4 of them like we are students and they left the project, it will be a huge impact. On the last graph, although it will be very chaotic. It is like the trend of every Wikipedia. But we have all the data for this, and we can share with you afterwards to see what is for your Wikipedia. This is something that we try to show and to be like in relative size. We know that like we measure like in absolute numbers, like how one Wikipedia is big, or some like how many articles that language has. But now on this graph we can see like what is the relative size of total page articles that it is on that Wikipedia versus native speakers. So here is also two good examples of two small languages, or two small languages in size, but big in like relative size of their Wikipedias, and that is Estonian Wikipedia, which is like very high on this table, and Latvian Wikipedia, which also has like very good numbers here. Now we will see the three maps of how it is English Wikipedia, how it is read more or not versus the local ones in our region. Now the first map is showing the data from 2020. So this is August 2020, and so it means we are way into pandemic, and the leadership of the local Wikipedias and the English Wikipedia, it also has reason. But now we can see that 9 countries of our region or their Wikipedias we are read more than the English Wikipedias. In 2021, the situation is different. So we use, on example, Georgian and Greek Wikipedia is now is not so read than the English one. So in Greece, that means that in 2022, English Wikipedia is read more than the Greek one. And in 2024, we can see the situation, and that we use another country, and that is Bulgaria. So with this, we want just to show that like interesting, but English Wikipedia is read more in. We are losing. The trend is going that local Wikipedias is losing the fight with English Wikipedia. So this is just to make awareness of this. Now we can. Yeah.
It's time for questions. Yeah, it's time for questions. If someone wants to speak, yeah, or comments.
Hi, I'm Chris from the Wikimedia Foundation. I was really interested in these last couple of slides on regional trends and how folks are accessing English Wikipedia versus their kind of local language Wikipedia projects. Do you, in terms of kind of unearthing this data and collecting it, do you have any kind of suppositions about factors that may have affected, year to year, why folks were accessing English Wikipedia more often than their local language projects?
No, about this, we don't have like quite a clear answer, and the question is that we want to research much bigger, but we do that with the affiliates, and maybe even to ask a question if this is a problem or not for their Wikipedia. So this is just a interesting showcase, but it should be work also with the affiliates.
It's interesting that you compare it. I'm Maciej from Slovakia. That you English Wikipedia. There might be some other non-local languages that are read more than English.
Yeah. We did prepare a map about like where Russia is being read more than like the local language or English, but we chose not to show it because there's a certain historical context to why that's the case, and just showing the map by itself like wouldn't really help a lot, I think, in doing it. But like Russian is also read a lot of, obviously, like in the region in certain countries. Yeah. So like Latvia, Armenia, Moldova, and Ukraine. But like that's for reasons that like are quite different from country to country. I don't think there's other languages, no? Like no one's reading Chinese or like Mandarin
At least not a significant.
or German. German, but German, like people do access German quite a lot in the region as well.
Yeah, in region of Austria and Germany.
Yeah, for example.
Some other questions or okay, then I think we can continue.
Okay, we are continuing now with situation related to Wikimedia affiliates and passing the word to Tony.
Yeah, we will continue with some graphs and statistics about organizations and funding available in the organization and how that funding is spent. In the first graphs, we can see that like many of the affiliates are using round one, or that is the autumn round that is happening in the fiscal year or in the calendar year of the affiliates or the grantees, and they're just 25 or one quarter of the affiliates is staying with the round two or a spring round, which is coinciding with the fiscal year of the foundation. We want to show that during last year it was almost 98% the money needed for general support fund for available for grantees for our region. It was spent, and that was one of the reasons why in the rapid funds it was these changes. So rapid funds, we can see that the trend is going down, and because the rapid funds is also part of the general support fund, like in that like bigger regional quote or a budget, projected budget for the regions, we can see that the level or like that the money left for rapid funds is even less from year to year. The trend is going down. We during 2024, after we discovered that and the foundation informed that they will stop due to the lack of funding, we were in contact with them, and we have that survey. And for some of you, we reach out to you, and we had extraordinary round that is 14,000 euros displayed in red, that we are facilitated and evaluated by the CEE Hub as a special round that we had after we discovered that rapid funds we are that foundation doesn't have any more funding for the rapid funds. So now it's with the microgrants, and then Barbara will continue with impressions of general of the funding. Just to inform you, it is we don't have like any graph for here, but the microgrants is still open, so you still can apply. We have 11 proposals so far. 6 were funded, 2 were it's still in the process of reviewing. 3 of them were withdrawn for various reasons, so from the applicants. And we are proud to say that after from like these 6 funded proposals, they were for 5 different communities, which doesn't get any annual funding from the foundation.
Yeah, we wanted to also give special mention to Slovenian community in this regard, because their microgrant applications stood out. The others were also amazing, but their example is that the community that doesn't meet often offline was able to get this funding, organize meetup, go to the museum, and spend the day together, like knowledge exchange and also networking. So microgrants are really for these kind of things, and to give communities that don't have other sources of funding like a little push to start organizing something concrete. So our impressions, well, impressions, but also based on something that we observe in during communication with you and looking at your projects and also cooperating with you. Something very positive from the region is that many communities are trying new things, new campaigns, even on a small scale, like new external projects, working with new partners. And that is something that gives us hope together with statistics that we also were able to see because trends are in the CEE region positive. But we also have to ask ourselves some question and look at what could be better. And what we noticed during this year is this high level of uncertainty regarding movement charter, also planning of funding, which also influences how the projects are implemented and how people are viewing their overall perspective on the work related to Wikimedia. And in times of uncertainty or when something is not like clear or set up, the easiest is to just do as you are used to. But we would like to encourage you also to think outside the box and maybe also drop some programs which are okay, they are working for 5, 6 years, but maybe okay, it's not prescribed that you have to continue. Maybe drop it, try something new, explore a bit, experiment. Also, together with C Hub, we are inviting you to explore more other funding opportunities. Um, Funding that we are receiving from foundation. It's also it's very important and of course everyone has the right to it because we are Wikimedians, but also building this resilience by having several sources of funding is good. So together with C Hub, we are inviting you to take part in this journey because we would like to focus more on EU funds and other funds in the next year to see how we can get also other sources of funding. And last but not the least, we shouldn't be measuring growth only through financial means. So it's not that if you're receiving a bit more funding from year to year, that means that you're better or growing. Sometimes also receiving less, but reorganizing your organization or doing something that matters more would mean growth. So this is something like food for thought. And I'm passing it over to Philip.
Thank you. So we have been talking about the past and now the present, and I was also been talking a bit about the future, like how maybe we can improve like our situation. And I'm just going to talk a bit about how the future might look like. Like at the beginning, I talked about the movement charter and not existing, and the question like, is that a problem or not? Like, is that something that should worry us? And you can look at from two sides. Like in the CEE region, like we're quite good at like looking at things from a negative point of view. So let's start with those points. Um, like it's quite uncertainty around all of this, and how Barbara mentioned, like kind of like makes it difficult to plan because you're not quite sure like where all of this is going and like what kind of like orientation it is. Like that not being a movement charter also means like there's no like we're walking in a landscape that doesn't have a lot of landmarks in terms of like where we want to head to. And that's definitely something that like we can work on, but at the same time like creating that certainty in the space that you can control also means that like you have more, at least, uncertainty in the immediate surroundings. Something that we also like to do in Wikimedia is like fight windmills, so like things that actually don't matter in terms of like what we're doing. And especially like now with like the movement charter not happening, maybe we should focus more like on the things that we can control and the things that we want to work on and lead by example, and not like do things that like don't really contribute to us feeling better about working on this and things like that. And of course, like the last like downside in a way is like a movement charter would have given us like a structure to work in, like also like on a global level. That's not happening. So we kind of like have to do it in a different way, and that probably means like connecting like different regions and like as Barbara mentioned before, working like as we started Wikimania, like working as like regions in like together, and like seeing how we can maybe build some kind of structure from the bottom up. But that's going to take time and patience. So we'll probably be here like even in 2 or 3 years talking about this, unfortunately. So getting to the positive parts. No structures also means like there are no real limits. because like there's nothing to orientate yourself on. So like we can think about things in a way where we don't have any like you can just like brainstorm and like think about things in a way that like aren't limited to any structures. And these kind of opportunities don't really come about very often. I mean, Wikimedia has the tendency to create these opportunities quite often. Like I can remember like back in 2016 that there was also like a similar situation where it wasn't quite clear like where we were all headed and like what the general direction of all of this is, especially like the organized part of Wikimedia. And yeah, like this is also like a time where we can like create those shapes and structures without like anyone telling us no, it has to be a different way. So especially for this weekend, there will be sessions about this. There's going to be a governance session for the C Hub, like talking about membership, a membership model for the C Hub. There will be a World Cafe, like a workshop for the program of the C Hub for the next year. And there will be the almost traditional approval session at the end of the meeting on Sunday, where we'll talk about like what came out of like the discussions on Saturday and like what the program for next year is going to look like. Anyway, like those are things that we can influence and that we'll hopefully work on this weekend. And something that like also probably like was reflected back to you like at Wikimania is like we can lead by example here, and as also Mariana mentioned, we can create this process and like also be an inspiration for other regions and like other people. So yeah, so this is kind of like the 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 pros and cons of like not having these structures. And maybe to like finish this off, and I'm not sure how we're on time. Yeah, we're still good on time. Some of the main questions maybe for this weekend are what kind of organizational structures we want to build. Like, how do we want to work together? That's still something that we haven't really decided on necessarily. What is our relationship with the Wikimedia Foundation? Like, what does that look like? What kind of like process do we, or like processes and structures do we want to have with them to like to make their like our work easier and their work easier, and not spend as much time fighting those windmills and like wasting time on things that don't matter. Also, like how can we make our communities more resilient and like continue growing in a sustainable way? Like we saw the statistics about how the readership is going up and active editors are at least like not plummeting, like they are staying fairly stable. And how can we build upon that? You know, like obviously the effect of the affiliates like on those statistics is not really visible, but like as we also said, like with like measuring growth, like not only in a financial way, I think affiliates and like organizations have a different purpose in terms of like just creating raw numbers. So also when you design your programs and like the grant proposals and so on, maybe not focus that much on like uh sheer numbers, but like focus more on like the social aspects and the networking aspects, because like that's way more important. That's something that's also difficult to measure, obviously, but it's something that's essential to like all of this working together. So, and then other questions, like what does like the changing world like require of the organizations in the C region? Like we will have sessions on AI and similar topics that like are changing the landscape a lot, or like threatening to change the landscape a lot. And like how does that then reflect back on like our organizations and how they need to either prepare for it or like react to it. And then again, like how does the C Hub fit into all of this? Like how is this support structure best suited to like support organizations and the communities? And just as a last point, like in like the very personal question, like what do you want to achieve in the next year, and like how does this conference and how do all of we together like make that happen for you? So yeah, that's kind of it. That's the presentation. Thank you. And we still have 5 minutes for discussion. 2. Okay. So we started late, but we're finishing early. Does anyone have any questions? Comments? Chris again?
Just a brief comment on the rapid fund slide in terms of the kind of what appeared to be a lowering budget from year to year. In the
If you want to compare the price, it be easier. Yeah, this is it's a bit like this is an open space, so it's a bit difficult to manage this.
Just a quick clarification on the rapid fund slide. So it was true certainly in the most recent year that we can step back to that. In 2024, you're correct in saying that we ran out of funding, which prompted our discussion with you around the extraordinary rounds. In 2023, though, there were just simply fewer proposals that we received. So as it happened in 2023, we actually had budgeted much more than the 41,900 figure, but we couldn't spend it all, which ended up going back into general support funding.
That's all. Thank you. Yes.
It's important.
Yes, this average line doesn't be like it's not like a trend because humans are making these numbers and not like a computer. So like this average doesn't really reflect like it can change at any time, you know, based on what people decide. No, there's no trend in terms of rapid grant funding. Like if you ask for more, there might be more. Or maybe not. Any other questions or remarks? I mean, so when we were preparing like statistics, we were like, you know, thinking, oh, we're talking to Wikimedians, like they will probably be very detailed oriented about certain numbers. So I was curious, like I saw Martin high-fiving the other Latvian representative when we showed like the graph about the relative like articles to the population, like articles to language speakers. So yeah, but any impressions on this? And if you're curious, like Maltese is not the lowest one on this graph. Why is the German Wikipedia not included? Because good question. I know. Did we include it at all? No. It's just not like you know like Russian Wikipedia is really like a step like too far from most other, like comparing it, it's just like not really feasible in a certain way because sociological elements are very different in the German-speaking world. It's very confined as well. So we didn't really feel necessary to include it.
Okay, we are concluding, and Philip already said it, but this was us feeding you with something, giving you facts and presentation. But all of those of you who have idea, CEE could be supporting us in this or that way. That discussion is continuously open. And also, as Philip mentioned, we have a workshop. It's World Cafe about 3-year planning. You can find it in the sessions and you can join it. That's the opportunity where you, who are here present, but also it will be shared online, can decide what is part of our plan or where support should go. So, take active part if you're interested.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a break.
Thank you.